Have you ever asked yourself why you keep repeating the same bad habits, even when you're fully aware they're harmful? Or why some people seem to easily break free from destructive routines and completely transform their lives? What if I told you there's actually a science behind it, a straightforward formula that, once understood, can help you change your habits and your life? Welcome to Spoken Quora. We're going to explore some of the most valuable insights from this book's summary that can genuinely transform your life. Today we will talk about The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. You'll discover the intriguing ways habits influence every part of our lives, our health, productivity, and success. From the inspiring story of Lisa Allen, who overcame years of addiction, to cutting-edge research on how the brain stores habits, this book reveals the keys to mastering habit transformation for good. Stay with me as we dive deep into these stories, the scientific breakthroughs, and the practical strategies you can use to reshape your own habits. Whether you're aiming to break a harmful habit or build new, empowering routines, this summary will guide you step by step. Together, we'll explore how habits work, and by the end, you'll be ready to take that first step towards transforming your life. Ready to tackle your habits? Let's get started. Lisa Allen, breaking the cycle. Lisa Allen was 34 and had been struggling with addictions to alcohol and cigarettes since she was 16. Besides these addictions, she had lifelong issues with her weight and was frequently distressed about it. On top of that, Lisa was buried in over $10,000 of debt and couldn't keep a job for longer than a year. But the woman now sitting before researchers was unrecognizable. This Lisa was slim, fit, and beaming with happiness. Her legs were strong and toned, like those of a runner. Comparing her current self to old photos, she looked at least 10 years younger. Now debt-free, she had successfully quit smoking and drinking, and had held a stable job at a graphic design firm for over 3 years. How did she achieve such a dramatic transformation? It all came down to understanding and mastering the science of habits. Lisa's transformation, the turning point. For 3 years, psychologists, neurologists, and other experts studied Lisa Allen along with 23 others who had broken free from destructive habits. The participants had diverse struggles. Some were alcoholics, others chain smokers, some battled obesity, and a few were even addicted to shopping. This groundbreaking research, funded by the National Institute of Health, sought to uncover how these individuals managed to turn their lives around so quickly. When one of the researchers asked Lisa when she had last smoked a cigarette, she responded, "It's been about 4 years now. Since then, I've lost 60 pounds, completed a marathon, and I'm working on my master's degree. I've even bought my own house." Her life was filled with positive changes, and they seemed to come one after another. To better understand this transformation, researchers set up cameras in the participants' homes to observe their daily routines. Each person, including Lisa, underwent MRI brain scans since all of them had once been addicted, whether to cigarettes, alcohol, or food. One of the researchers, intrigued, asked Lisa to share her story once again. How did she manage to quit smoking? Lisa's journey to Cairo. A few months before quitting smoking, Lisa had gone on vacation to Cairo, Egypt. However, before that, her life had taken a drastic turn. One day, her husband came home from work and delivered devastating news: he had fallen in love with someone else and wanted a divorce. Lisa was crushed. She couldn't comprehend what was happening, but the truth was undeniable: her husband no longer loved her and wanted to leave. Heartbroken and overwhelmed, Lisa turned to alcohol and cigarettes to ease her pain, but nothing seemed to help. The emotional turmoil consumed her, and Lisa became obsessed with tracking her husband and his new girlfriend. She followed them wherever they went, made late-night calls to her husband's girlfriend, and, on one fateful night, Lisa, drunk and lost in her despair, showed up. The turning point, a scene of desperation. One night, in a drunken haze, Lisa Allen showed up at her husband's girlfriend's house, furious and out of control. She banged on the door, screamed, hurled insults, and even threatened to burn the house down. It was the lowest point of her life. She had never felt so miserable and alone. But then, In the midst of this chaos, something unexpected happened. She remembered a long-forgotten dream. She had always wanted to see the pyramids in Egypt. With this sudden spark, and some remaining credit on her card, Lisa impulsively decided to take a trip to Egypt. A new beginning in Cairo. On her first morning in Cairo, Lisa woke up to the call to prayer echoing from a nearby mosque. Her hotel room was pitch black, and she had a pounding headache from jet lag. She reached for a cigarette to calm her nerves, only to realize, after lighting it, that it wasn't a cigarette at all, it was a pen. The burning plastic smell filled the room. Frustrated and defeated, Lisa felt like her life had hit rock bottom. For months, she had been consumed by anger, shame, and hopelessness. Her days were spent binge eating and crying through the night. She had no job, and her weight continued to spiral out of control. The failed cigarette lighting was just one more sign that her life was falling apart. She felt utterly helpless, a new promise. But then, something shifted. A few months later, as she looked out at the vast desert surrounding the Sphinx and the pyramids of Giza, Lisa made a decision. She couldn't let her life collapse like this. She needed a purpose, something that would give her direction. In that moment, she promised herself that she would return to Egypt the following year to trek through the desert. It sounded ridiculous at the time. She was overweight, broke, and aimless. But this challenge ignited something in her. Lisa decided that her first step toward fulfilling that promise was to quit smoking. 1 year later, a transformation. Exactly 1 year after making that promise to herself, Lisa was back in Egypt, embarking on a desert trek with 6 other travelers. She had achieved what had once seemed impossible. Her journey from despair to determination was not just about seeing the pyramids, it was about reclaiming her life. From that moment, everything started to change for Lisa. She had given herself a purpose, and with each step she took, she left her bad habits behind. Lisa's transformation and brain rewiring. The moment Lisa decided to quit smoking was the catalyst for a complete transformation in her life. Over the next 6 months, she began jogging regularly to combat her smoking habit, adopted a healthy diet to curb her binge eating, and established a consistent sleep routine, which dramatically improved her productivity. Instead of spending money recklessly, she started saving for her future. Lisa even ran a marathon, returned to school, and eventually bought a new house. What fascinated the researchers was how her brain changed during this period. While they still observed traces of her old habits in her brain scans, those patterns had weakened. More importantly, her brain had developed new, stronger neural pathways that were connected to her healthier habits. Lisa had, in essence, rewired her brain, becoming a favorite subject of the researchers for this very reason. Her scans clearly showed that her brain had adapted to her new routines, demonstrating the powerful potential of habit change. Underscore 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 underscore. Eugene Pauly, A Case of Habit and Brain Function. In 1933, a man named Eugene Pauly walked into a laboratory in San Diego. At over 6 feet tall, with white hair and wearing a blue button-down shirt, Eugene moved slowly, likely due to arthritis. His case had fascinated the medical community, and in scientific literature, he was referred to simply as EP. About a year earlier, Eugene had fallen suddenly and violently ill. He experienced severe abdominal pain and began vomiting uncontrollably. Dehydration set in, prompting his wife to rush him to the hospital. By then, Eugene's fever was dangerously high, affecting his mental state. When a nurse tried to insert an IV into his arm, Eugene lashed out violently, kicking her in a delirious state. Realizing the severity of his condition, the doctors sedated him and performed a spinal tap, extracting fluid between 2 vertebrae in his spine. This fluid should have been clear and smooth, like silk passing through a needle. Instead, the fluid extracted from Eugene's body was cloudy and thick. The tests revealed the cause: Eugene had viral encephalitis, an infection of the brain. This type of virus, commonly associated with cold sores, mild infections, fever, and blisters, is usually harmless. But in Eugene's case, the virus had attacked his brain, leading to severe neurological complications. While he survived, Eugene's memory was severely affected, which made him a key case for researchers studying how habits and memory work in the brain. Eugene's memory loss and brain damage. The virus that infected Eugene Pauly's brain caused devastating damage. Although doctors managed to halt its spread with large doses of antiviral medication, parts of Eugene's brain had already been eaten away. Specifically, an oval-shaped piece of tissue in the center of his brain, near where the cranium and spinal column connect, had been destroyed. Despite the miraculous recovery from the brink of death, the doctors informed Eugene's wife that he would never be the same again. After spending 10 days in a coma, Eugene woke up. Physically, he seemed fine, he could move his limbs and respond to light and sound. But mentally, he was a different person. He couldn't remember the days, weeks, or months that had passed. Even when doctors repeatedly introduced themselves, Eugene couldn't retain their names. His memory was profoundly affected. Life after the virus, a different Eugene. Back home, the effects of Eugene's memory loss became more apparent. He couldn't recognize his friends, nor did he remember his recent illness or hospitalization. Oddly, despite these memory deficits, Eugene still performed some habitual activities. For example, he would wake up in the morning, go to the kitchen to cook bacon and eggs, return to the bedroom, and turn on the radio. But about 40 minutes later, he would repeat the same routine, getting up to cook breakfast and turning the radio on again, completely unaware that he had just done so. This peculiar behavior caught the attention of memory loss specialists, including Larry Squire from the University of California, San Diego. Squire, who had been studying the neuroanatomy of memory for 30 years, took a special interest in Eugene's case. Eugene's condition posed a unique challenge to traditional understandings of memory. The paradox of habitual memory. Squire noticed that while Eugene couldn't form new memories, he could still navigate his home with ease. He could move from one room to another, such as finding the kitchen or bathroom without hesitation. However, when asked to explain how he remembered the layout of the house, Eugene had no answer. Even more curiously, when he was asked to draw a map of his home, he couldn't do it. This puzzling case revealed an important insight into the nature of habits. Despite his inability to form new declarative memories, Eugene still exhibited habitual memory, suggesting that habits are stored in a different part of the brain. His brain was no longer capable of retaining facts or new information, but the part responsible for habits remained functional. This discovery opened up new avenues of research into how the brain stores and retrieves habitual actions independently of conscious memory. Eugene's case became a landmark in the study of habits, showing that even in the absence of conscious memory, our brains can still drive habitual behaviors, proof that habits are deeply ingrained in the structure of the mind. Eugene's habits, a window into the brain's automatic behavior. Although Eugene had lost his memory due to brain damage, he hadn't lost his habits. These ingrained routines allowed him to navigate his home and neighborhood, even though he couldn't recall how he knew the way. Each morning, Eugene would wake up, step outside, take a walk around the neighborhood, and return home with a small stone in his hand. Then, he would sit on the couch and watch the History Channel. His routine was simple but consistent, demonstrating that his habits were deeply embedded in his brain, even as his memory failed him. This case led scientists to a key realization: our habits are stored in a primitive part of the brain that functions independently of conscious memory. The human brain is structured in layers, with the outer layers handling complex thinking and decision-making. But deep within the brain, near the brain stem, are more primitive structures that control automatic behaviors, actions we don't even think about, such as breathing or swallowing. At the core of the brain, about the size of a golf ball, lies a region called the basal ganglia. This is the part of the brain responsible for storing habits. It's an ancient structure, found in all vertebrates, from fish to mammals. Through their research, scientists discovered that the brain is constantly looking for ways to save energy. It turns repetitive actions into habits, allowing us to perform them without thinking. This frees up mental resources to focus on more complex tasks. For instance, when we walk, tie our shoes, or brush our teeth, we don't need to concentrate on each movement. Our brain chunks these tasks into routines that can be carried out automatically, allowing us to operate on autopilot. This efficiency means we can focus our mental energy on higher-level thinking, such as solving problems or creating new ideas, while our basal ganglia takes care of the habitual actions. The habit loop: how habits are formed. So, how are habits formed? The answer lies in something called the habit loop, which consists of three components: cue, routine, and reward. 1. Cue. This is the trigger that signals the brain to start a habit. It could be something as simple as the time of day, a specific location, or an emotional state. 2. Routine. This is the behavior or action that follows the cue. Whether it's brushing your teeth, going for a run, or grabbing a snack, this is the habit itself. 3. Reward. The reward is the positive reinforcement that comes after the routine. It's what makes your brain want to repeat the behavior. The satisfaction of clean teeth, the runner's high, or the enjoyment of a snack acts as the reward. When this loop is repeated enough times: cue, routine, reward, the behavior becomes automatic. The brain learns to associate the cue with the routine, and eventually, the routine becomes a habit. In the 1990s, a group of MIT scientists conducted an experiment on rats to study the role of the basal ganglia in habit formation. They found that rats with injuries to this part of the brain struggled to complete tasks like running through a maze or opening food containers. It was as if the rats had lost their memory, similar to Eugene's case. However, further observation revealed that habits could be preserved even when the ability to form new memories was impaired. This discovery opened up a deeper understanding of how habits are stored and how they operate independently of conscious thought. Sister called 911. Unfortunately, Travis' father passed away that day. His mother, who had been arrested, wasn't there to help him cope. Travis was left to navigate this traumatic experience alone, and it left deep scars on his emotional and mental well-being. Without a stable family structure, Travis was bounced around from one foster home to another. As he grew older, he started acting out in school, getting into fights, and eventually dropped out. By the age of 16, Travis had developed his own addiction to drugs. His life mirrored the same destructive patterns he had witnessed growing up. Despite these challenges, Travis' life took a dramatic turn for the better in his early 20s. He found a job at a small marketing firm and began to take interest in building a career. The environment at the firm encouraged personal growth and success. But Travis knew that to succeed, he needed to break free from his addictions and unhealthy habits. He sought help and eventually enrolled in a rehabilitation program. During rehab, Travis learned about the power of habits. The counselors taught him how to recognize the cues that triggered his bad habits and how to replace those harmful routines with positive ones. Travis discovered that his addiction wasn't just a matter of willpower but was deeply rooted in his brain's automatic responses. Using the habit loop: cue, routine, reward, Travis worked on changing his destructive patterns. Instead of turning to drugs when he felt stressed, he began exercising and journaling. His reward shifted from the temporary high of drugs to the sense of accomplishment he felt after completing a workout or reflecting on his progress. Slowly but surely, Travis started to see real changes in his life. His new habits helped him gain control over his behavior and rebuild his life. Over time, Travis continued to grow both personally and professionally. He built a support network of friends and mentors who encouraged him to keep striving for better. Eventually, he returned to school, earned his degree, and later landed a managerial position at a larger company. His life became a testament to the power of breaking bad habits and replacing them with positive ones. Travis' story illustrates how deeply ingrained habits can be, but also how, with the right mindset and support, they can be changed. No matter how challenging or ingrained the bad habits might be, by understanding the cue, routine, and reward structure, anyone can rewrite their habit loops and achieve success. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe. If our videos have touched your life or made a difference for you, your support means more than words can express. You can donate just 5 rupees to our UPI account mentioned in the description so we can provide stationery like copies and pens to underprivileged children every week. By contributing, you're not just supporting our work, you're becoming a vital part of our mission and our story. Your generosity helps us keep our passion alive and creates even more meaningful content. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your kindness and support. Now, let's return to the summary. The takeaway. Travis and Lisa's stories, alongside Eugene's case, show how habits can govern our lives, for better or worse. Whether it's addiction or something as simple as procrastination, our habits form the foundation of our behaviors. However, the brain's ability to create new neural pathways allows us to change. By identifying the cue, maintaining the reward, and shifting the routine, we can break bad habits and establish healthier ones. Whether it's overcoming addiction, building a successful career, or simply improving your daily productivity, habits play a crucial role in shaping the outcomes of our lives. Understanding the habit loop can empower anyone to take control of their actions and unlock their potential for lasting change. To follow a 4-step process to manage the situation: 1. Listen to the customer's complaint without interrupting. 2. Apologize sincerely. 3. Take action to fix the problem immediately. And 4. Offer a free drink or coupon as a gesture of goodwill. This training program equipped Travis with the tools to manage difficult situations calmly and professionally. Starbucks also emphasized the importance of willpower. They understood that willpower could be developed like a muscle through repeated use. As part of his training, Travis learned strategies to strengthen his self-control. One such strategy was to create an if-then plan. For instance, Travis created a mental script: if I feel overwhelmed by a customer's complaint, then I'll take a deep breath and focus on solving the problem. By practicing this approach repeatedly, Travis strengthened his ability to stay calm under pressure. Over time, Travis' new habits started to pay off. He found himself handling situations more effectively, gaining the respect of both his customers and his coworkers. His newfound discipline and emotional control allowed him to climb the ranks at Starbucks, eventually landing him in a managerial position. Travis' transformation is a powerful example of how habits, once formed and nurtured, can drastically change a person's life. Through a combination of structured training, willpower exercises, and habit formation, he managed to break free from the destructive patterns of his past and create a successful, stable career for himself. His story highlights the power of building positive habits and developing emotional resilience, particularly in high-stress environments. It also underscores the importance of structured support and training in helping individuals like Travis turn their lives around, proving that with the right guidance and effort, anyone can overcome their challenges and thrive. Conclusion. You've now heard about Lisa Allen's incredible transformation, breaking free from harmful addictions, and how Eugene Pauly relied on his habits to navigate life despite losing his memory. You've also learned about Travis Leach's journey, where he turned his life around thanks to the power of good habits and the guidance from Starbucks. The truth is, habits shape our lives in ways we often don't realize, and the best part is, you have the power to change them. Whether it's replacing a bad habit with a good one or building new routines that propel you toward success, the key lies in understanding the habit loop: cue, routine, and reward. So, what's stopping you from starting today? Reflect on the habits you want to change. Remember, it doesn't have to be a monumental shift; even small, consistent changes can lead to massive transformations over time. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the power of habit. If this summary inspired you to take control of your habits and improve your life, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more life-changing insights. Together, we can harness the power of habits to shape a better future. Until next time, keep moving forward, one habit at a time.